In my last video, I painted these two landscapes from reference photos that I took from my trip to the UK. And in this video, I wanted to show you my process for painting this wall of flowers that I spotted. And I just loved the colours and textures of the plants and the wall, so I thought I would give it a go with gouache. While I show you my process, I wanted to tell you a bit about how I failed art in high school, specifically my art A-levels, as I did my education in the UK. And I guess I wanted to tell you about that chapter in my life because I find it really interesting to hear a bit more about artists' backstories into art. So maybe if you're curious as to what my background in art is, then this will be interesting to you, and maybe you can paint along or stick me in the background while you do your own work. If you're interested in a step-by-step process for landscapes, the video before this one has a voiceover talking about my process, so definitely check that one out if you're looking for more of a guide. So a few months ago, I received a comment on one of my videos, and part of that comment said, "Where is the art in your art?" And the comment was basically saying something along the lines of mastering a medium is one thing, but where's the art in what you're creating? I think this was on a video where I was talking a bit more about techniques with gouache, and this particular comment stuck with me because it took me back to my 17-year-old self, and it reminded me of the reason why I left art completely for years. I went to high school in the UK and I took art as an A-level, and if you are not from the UK, A-levels are basically the last 2 years of high school where you sit exams and you choose specific subjects to take to then go on to university. And I had chosen art as one of my subjects, but I didn't pass on to the second year. If I remember correctly, I got either an E grade or a U, which stands for ungraded. So in short terms, I failed it and I couldn't move on to the second year to actually get the full A level in it. And there are a lot of reasons why I failed it. I was a teenager, I was going through teenage things, I was confused about what I wanted to do, where I was going. So I really didn't give it my all. But a prevalent feeling that I had was that the type of art I was drawn to making was just not art enough for what the teachers and the overall education system wanted me to be concentrating on. And what I mean by that is that there was obviously a curriculum to follow, and there was a big emphasis on art history, the masters of art, understanding different art movements, analysing artists and their work. And what I really wanted to be doing was painting and drawing and being taught how to draw accurately and paint and use oil paints and how to capture the beauty of a landscape and technique on how to draw portraits. And by no means am I saying that studying art and different art movements and looking up to the masters isn't a good thing. In fact, I've hugely learned to appreciate this, but that definitely came much later for me. I just remember at that age, I honestly didn't have an appreciation for all of it, and I was much more interested in learning how to paint and draw, and I just wanted to create things and kind of let my creativity flow. I just loved making and painting and drawing, and I do feel like the curriculum wasn't built for that. Anyway, so I failed and I didn't carry on, and I kind of let art trickle out of my life. I maybe took one evening local class for a couple of weeks where we painted some still life, and I think I was about 18, and then I went months without doing anything, and then when I was 19 I painted the final painting that I would paint for years and years, and obviously I didn't know that at the time, that it was going to be my last painting for over a decade. And I'm ashamed to say this, but that painting, I was so proud of it. I entered it into a competition and it didn't get selected for exhibition, but I was really proud nonetheless. But I remember, and this is the part where I'm ashamed, I remember an important person in my life at that time seeing the painting and saying something along the lines of, "It's quite good, but you paint postcard art, you know, the type of art that grandmas buy when they go on holiday." Basically, he was telling me my art was too cutesy and not serious enough to be selected to be exhibited in a gallery competition. And for context, this person is actually a very successful professional artist. So the comment had quite a lot of weight for me. After that, I stopped making art, and it wasn't a conscious decision of stopping because that person said that to me and I just said, right, I'm never painting again. I just went down a completely different career path. I studied something totally different at university, and I didn't touch anything creative again for years. So maybe you can kind of see why that comment threw me back so hard to that last time I painted. But the difference is that now that comment slid right off me. Like, it threw me back, but just in a reminder way, because there's no part of me that ever wants to leave creating ever again because of what someone says to me about my art. And here's the thing, I fully take responsibility over how my journey went. Like, I definitely found the comments I received discouraging back when I was 19. And yes, the art curriculum at school wasn't made for me at the time, but I'm not blaming those external factors on why I stopped creating or why I failed art in high school. I guess they were just things that impacted me because of the way I was built. I don't know, humans are complicated, I guess. Maybe those factors would have been fuel to someone else and had the opposite effect. And instead of quitting, they would have gone harder. But the point is that those things happened and I took them the way I did. But the important thing is that I've used it as part of my journey in a positive way, even if it's been years later. There was definitely a bit of a phase I went through when I reconnected with art all those years later, where I felt annoyed at myself for having left it so many years. But I'm not too hard on myself about that anymore. My life went on a journey after that I'm really grateful for. And ultimately, I learned a huge lesson. I don't ever think about letting anyone else's definition of what art is stop me from making the art I want to make. Like, art comes in so many forms and all forms are valid, and I love painting cutesy postcard art of landscapes and pretty flowers and plants, and I love using vibrant colors, and I like painting small illustrations. It may not be hanging on prestigious gallery walls, but it makes me happy, and I think it makes others happy too, which is like the ultimate compliment. And this is why I really love platforms like Instagram for art. Even though it may have other issues as a platform, I actually credit it for helping me create again, because I feel like it was through seeing people post their art and cute drawings and paintings and seeing that being celebrated that I felt like I could reconnect with the type of art I wanted to make again. One other thing that I think my whole journey into art has given me that I'm really grateful for is that I've really learned not to compare my art to other people's art. And I think it was this really deep acceptance of this is the art I want to make and this is where I am at with it right now that has made me focus hard on just what I make and not feel bad about where I'm at or how I need to improve or that someone else's art is better because of XYZ. And I guess it's this kind of inner acceptance that has helped me create a YouTube channel too. Like, I don't think I could have done this back when I was 17 or 18. I think I really needed to grow and develop a strong sense of peace within myself, peace around what I create in order to do it. Anyway, I'm curious to hear about your journeys with creating. Have you ever had any discouragement either from yourself or from others? And how did you turn it around? What's been your comeback story? I hope it was interesting for you to hear a little slice of my journey. I'm definitely up for sharing more if you find it interesting. And I'll leave you with me finishing this painting for the rest of the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.